She looked him up and down and smirked. You really think a single dad like you could make a woman happy? He didn't flinch. Want to bet? Before we begin, tell us in the comments, have you ever felt like you were competing with someone's past or their responsibilities? And where are you watching from? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more real emotional stories. Let's begin. Ryan Bennett didn't go to bars to meet women. He went to breathe. Chicago winter had that clean, bright kind of cold, sunlight flashing off dirty snowbanks, sidewalks glittering like crushed glass. The city looked awake even when people felt tired. Ryan felt tired a lot. But the neighborhood bar near his apartment was warm, familiar, and quiet enough to let him sit in the corner and answer the babysitter's texts without anyone staring. Noah was 7, all elbows and questions, the kind of kid who'd ask why the moon followed the car and then fall asleep mid-sentence. Ryan's life ran on schedules, cough syrup, school lunches, and the kind of steady love that didn't ask for applause. That night, he took one stool at the bar and ordered a beer. He checked his phone. Noah had finally fallen asleep. The sitter had sent a photo, a small hand still clutching a stuffed dinosaur, mouth open, hair sticking up like he'd fought sleep and lost. Ryan smiled without meaning to. You a single dad? The bartender asked, sliding the beer over. Ryan nodded. Yeah. A laugh came from 2 stools away. Not rude, sharp. Confident. Ryan glanced over. Madison Cole. He didn't know her name yet, but he knew the type: tailored coat, sleek hair, the look of someone who lived in glass elevators and didn't apologize for it. She was holding a clear drink like it was part of her outfit. A single dad like you, she said, tilting her head, half teasing and half judging. How could you possibly make a woman happy? Ryan should have ignored it. He'd heard versions of that sentence his whole life, some loud, some polite, all the same message: your baggage. But something about her tone told him she wasn't just mocking him. She was testing a belief she needed to keep. Ryan turned on his stool slowly and met her eyes. Calm. Steady. Want to bet? He said. Madison blinked, clearly expecting him to get defensive. A bet? You're assuming happiness is about constant availability, Ryan replied. Like love is a calendar you can control. Madison's lips twitched, like she didn't want to be impressed. And you're assuming I'm wrong. I'm assuming you've been disappointed, Ryan said, and surprised himself with the honesty. So you decided responsibility equals less love. Her gaze tightened. Responsibility equals distraction. Ryan nodded once. Sure. It also equals showing up. Every time. Even when it's hard. Madison lifted her glass. You say that like you're selling me something. I'm not selling anything, Ryan said. I'm just not ashamed of my life. That hit something. He saw it, the smallest crack in her confidence. Outside the window, headlights slid over the snow. Inside, the bar hummed softly. Ryan looked down at his beer, then back up. My son's name is Noah, he said. He's 7. And he's the best thing that ever happened to me. Madison's expression softened for half a second before she put the armor back on. And his mom? Ryan's jaw tightened, barely. Not in the picture. Madison tapped her nails on her glass. So what's the bet? Ryan reached into his wallet and pulled out a plain card. No logo, no fancy font. Just his name and number. You call me, he said, sliding it toward her. We grab coffee. You decide if I'm capable of making a woman happy, or if you just want to be right. Madison stared at the card like it was an invitation and a threat. Ryan stood. I have to get home. Babysitter's got class in the morning. He left a tip, pulled on his coat, and stepped into the bright winter night. Behind him, Madison Cole sat very still, the card under her fingertips, like for the first time in a long time she wasn't sure what she believed. Madison waited 3 days to call. Not because she was busy, she always was. Because she wanted to see if Ryan Bennett would chase her like men usually did when they sensed interest. A message. A follow-up. A little pressure to prove she mattered. Ryan did none of that. When she finally dialed, he answered on the 4th ring. "This is Ryan." "It's Madison," she said. From the bar. A pause. Not awkward, present. Like he was turning toward her with his attention. "I remember," he said. In the background, a child laughed, high and wild. Ryan's voice shifted slightly. "Give me a second." She heard a door close, the sound fading. "Sorry," Ryan said. "Noah's got a friend over." Madison swallowed, surprised by the small sting of guilt. She was calling into a life already in motion. "We can do coffee," she said quickly, more decisive than she felt. "If the bed is still on." "It is," Ryan replied. "Tomorrow. 6:30. There's a place near my building. Small. Good cinnamon rolls." Madison arrived 10 minutes early and instantly regretted it. The cafe was tucked between a laundromat and a bookstore, warm light spilling onto the snow. It wasn't her usual world of minimalist lobbies and corporate espresso machines. This place smelled like cinnamon and comfort, like people lingering without trying to win anything. Ryan walked in exactly at 6:30. No showy cologne. No flashy watch. Just jeans, a gray sweater, and the kind of tired calm that made Madison feel like she was moving too fast. He ordered black coffee. Sat across from her. Didn't try to impress her. They talked, about her job, about his work, about why Madison hated office politics and why Ryan hated pretending he wasn't exhausted. He told her about Noah's science obsession, how the kid could talk for an hour about dinosaurs and still ask for just one more question. Madison laughed, despite herself. "You're good at this," she said. "Being steady." Ryan shrugged. "It's not a personality trait. It's a requirement." When Madison asked why his relationship ended, Ryan didn't dump details. He didn't trash anyone. He just said, Noah deserved peace. So I built it. That sentence stayed with her. Over the next 2 weeks, coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into a walk along the riverfront where the sun made the frozen water look like steel. Madison caught herself waiting for his texts. Not because she needed validation, because with Ryan, everything felt real. Then one Saturday, Ryan invited her to a park. "No pressure," he said. "Noah wants to practice soccer. You can just say hi and leave if it feels like too much." Madison nearly said no. Meeting a child wasn't a date. It was a doorway. But she went. Noah was smaller than she expected, bundled in a bright winter coat, cheeks red from cold. He barely looked at her at first, too focused on the soccer ball. Then, after 20 minutes, he ran over and stared at her like she was a puzzle. "You're Madison?" he asked. Madison crouched slightly. "Yeah." Noah pointed at her boots. "Those aren't soccer boots." "No," Madison admitted. "I'm not good at this." Noah considered her for a serious second. "That's okay. Dad says practice is how you get less bad." Ryan chuckled behind him, and Madison felt something warm in her chest that scared her. They got ice cream after. Noah talked non-stop. Ryan listened like every word mattered. On the drive home, Madison stared out at the bright winter streets and realized the truth: she wasn't just liking Ryan. She was starting to care about the whole picture. And that meant she had something to lose. The first time Ryan canceled on Madison, she told herself she was fine. It was a Wednesday. They had plans: dinner downtown, one of Madison's favorite restaurants with big windows and warm light. She'd even left work on time, which felt like a miracle. Ryan called before she could text. "Noah's sick," he said. Madison heard the strain in his voice before he said anything else. "High fever. I'm taking him to urgent care." Madison's chest tightened. "Is he okay?" "I think so," Ryan replied. "But I need to cancel." "Don't apologize," Madison said quickly, because she meant it. "Take care of him." Ryan exhaled. "I will. I'll call when I know more." He didn't call that night. Or the next day. Madison tried not to make it a story. People got busy. Kids got sick. Ryan was tired. But silence always did something to her. It made her brain build worst-case scenarios like it was protecting her. On Friday she texted, "How's Noah?" An hour later, "Better. Just a virus. Thanks for checking." That was it. "No, I miss you." "No, let's reschedule." No reassurance. Madison stared at her phone longer than she wanted to admit. Saturday, she met her friends, Samantha and Claire, at a bright cafe near the Loop. Snow glittered outside. Inside was warm and loud and full of people who looked certain about their lives. "You look like you're about to fire someone," Samantha said. Madison forced a laugh. "I'm dating someone." Claire's eyes widened. "You? Dating? Madison rolled her eyes. "Yes. And it's complicated." Samantha leaned in. "Oh no. Married?" "No. Single dad." Claire's expression softened with sympathy that immediately irritated Madison. "I hate that look," Madison said. "It's just hard," Claire replied gently. "You're not dating him. You're dating his whole life." Madison gripped her coffee cup. "I know." Samantha studied her. "His kid got sick, didn't he?" Madison didn't answer. Because yes. And what bothered her wasn't the sick kid. It was what her fear whispered afterward. "You will never be first." That night, Ryan texted, "Can I see you tomorrow?" Madison typed yes before she could overthink it. They met at the same park as before, sunlight bright on the snow, kids laughing like winter didn't exist. Ryan looked exhausted, hair slightly messy, eyes shadowed. "I'm sorry I've been MIA, Ryan said as they walked. Noah's fever spiked. I didn't sleep much." Madison wanted to say she understood. She did understand. But understanding didn't stop the ache. They reached a bench near the soccer field. Madison stopped, heart thudding like she was about to step off a ledge. "I don't know if I can do this," she said. Ryan's face didn't change, but something in his eyes dimmed slightly. "Why?" Madison swallowed. "Because I'll never be your priority." Ryan didn't flinch. He didn't argue. He just nodded once, like he respected her honesty. "You're right," he said calmly. "Noah comes first. Always." Madison's throat tightened. "Then what am I?" Ryan's voice stayed steady. "You're not second. It's not a ranking. Noah is my responsibility. That doesn't mean you don't matter. It means I have to love intentionally." Madison shook her head, frustration burning. "That's not enough." Ryan's jaw tightened, hurt finally showing. "What do you want from me, Madison?" She wanted him to say the wrong thing. She wanted him to promise she'd be first. But Ryan Bennett wouldn't lie just to keep her. "I think I should go," Madison whispered. Ryan didn't chase her. He didn't guilt her. He just nodded, eyes steady even as pain lived behind them. Madison walked away through bright winter light and felt emptier than she'd expected. She told herself she'd protected her heart. But deep down, she knew she'd just proven Ryan right. She didn't fear Noah. She feared being loved in a way she couldn't control. Ryan didn't fall apart after Madison left. He couldn't. Noah still needed breakfast. Homework help. A ride to school. The world didn't pause because Ryan's chest felt bruised. But the quiet that week was heavier than usual. On Wednesday, as Ryan picked Noah up from school, a woman stepped out of the office and called his name like a warning. "Mr. Bennett?" The principal. Tight smile. Careful eyes. "We need to talk." Ryan sat across from her in a small office that smelled like paper and hand sanitizer. Noah's backpack sat by his chair. Noah swung his legs, confused. The principal folded her hands. "We received an anonymous message about concerns at home." Ryan's blood went cold. Concerns? She slid a printed email across the desk. Accusations. Vague, poisonous. Claims that Ryan worked too much, that Noah was left with strangers, that Ryan was unstable. Ryan read it once, then again, fingers tightening around the paper. "Who sent this?" he asked. "It's anonymous," the principal said softly. "But it references the custody file from years ago." Ryan felt the past rise like a shadow. Noah's mother. The court fights. The threats that if Ryan slipped once, someone would use it. Ryan kept his voice calm because Noah was watching. "Noah is safe. He is loved. I can provide everything you need to prove that." The principal nodded. "I believe you. But we have to follow procedure." Outside the office, Ryan crouched to Noah's level. "Hey. You okay?" Noah frowned. "Am I in trouble?" Ryan's throat tightened. "No, buddy. Never. Adults are just being adults." That night, Ryan called his lawyer. And then, against his better judgment, he called Madison. Not because he wanted comfort. Because honesty mattered. And because if someone was digging into his life, he needed to know who had access. Madison answered, surprised. "Ryan? I need to tell you something," Ryan said. His voice was controlled, but she could hear the edge. "Someone filed an anonymous complaint about my parenting." Silence. Madison's breath caught. "What? Why?" Ryan stared at the wall, jaw tight. "Because I filed a report at work 2 months ago. I refused to sign off on a contractor who was cutting safety corners. He got disciplined. He's been angry ever since." Madison's mind clicked through details she'd half noticed. Ryan's careful boundaries. His quiet refusal to gossip. The way he said he built peace. "You think he's retaliating," she said. "I think someone wants me scared," Ryan replied. "Because scared people are easier to control." Madison swallowed. "Is Noah okay?" "He's fine," Ryan said. "But this is the part of my life you didn't see. The part where doing the right thing attracts enemies." Madison closed her eyes, guilt landing heavy. She'd walked away because she felt second, while Ryan was fighting to keep his son safe. "Ryan," she started. "I'm not calling for pity," Ryan cut in, then softened. "I'm calling because you deserve to know who I am. I don't lie. Not even when lying would be easier." Madison's voice went quiet. "I didn't leave because of Noah." Ryan didn't speak. "I left because when you didn't text back, I felt disposable," she admitted. "And that fear makes me cruel." Ryan exhaled slowly. "Madison, I didn't text because I was holding Noah while he shook with fever. My phone was on the counter. I assumed you'd understand." "I know," Madison whispered. "And I hated myself for not understanding." A pause. Then Ryan said the thing that changed the air between them. My dad left when I was 9, he said. He started another family and acted like I was a mistake. I promised Noah he'd never feel that. That's why I don't play games. That's why I don't chase people who run. Madison's throat tightened. I'm sorry. I don't need sorry, Ryan said. I need truth. Madison stared out at the bright winter street from her apartment window, heart pounding. Because the truth was, someone from her own world had a connection to Ryan's workplace complaint. And she suddenly knew exactly who could be behind the anonymous email. Her ex. The man she'd dated last year. The man who hated Ryan's kind of integrity because it exposed his. Madison's voice shook. Ryan. I think I know who's doing this. Madison didn't sleep. By morning, she had proof. Text messages from her ex, Evan, weeks old, bitter and mocking after he'd seen Madison with Ryan downtown. So you're dating a dad now? Hope you like being second place. Guys like that pretend to be saints. I can dig up what he really is. Madison had dismissed it as jealous talk. Now, with the school complaint, it looked like a plan. She drove across the city in bright winter sun, hands clenched on the steering wheel. Her pride screamed to stay away, because showing up meant admitting she'd been wrong. But Ryan Bennett had taught her something she couldn't unlearn. Love wasn't about being chosen above everything. It was about being chosen consistently. Ryan answered his door with Noah peeking from behind his leg. Noah's eyes widened. Hi. Madison's chest tightened. Hi, Noah. Ryan looked at her carefully, not hopeful, not cold. Just, ready for the truth, whatever it was. Madison held up her phone. It's Evan. My ex. He's connected to your workplace contractor. I found messages. He threatened to dig up your custody history. Ryan's jaw tightened, anger flashing cold and controlled. So it's real. Madison nodded, shame burning. I'm sorry I didn't take it seriously. I'm sorry I walked away when you were drowning. Noah looked between them. Dad? Ryan crouched. Hey, buddy. Go finish your cereal, okay? Noah hesitated, then nodded and padded away. The door clicked half-closed. Winter light spilled into the hallway behind Madison like a spotlight. Ryan's voice went low. Why are you here, Madison? Madison swallowed hard. Because I was wrong. And because I don't want Noah to pay for my fear. Ryan studied her. Fear of what? Madison's eyes stung. Of not being special. Of not being first. Of being replaceable. Ryan didn't soften. Not yet. And what are you choosing now? Madison took a shaky breath. I'm choosing to stop competing with a child. I'm choosing to stop making love a trophy. I'm choosing to be the kind of woman who can stand beside you instead of demanding you prove I matter. Ryan's throat moved like he swallowed something heavy. Madison's voice cracked. I didn't want you to choose me over Noah. I wanted you to choose me like you choose him, steadily, responsibly, honestly. Ryan stared at her for a long moment. Then he nodded once. That's the first thing you've said that sounds like love. Madison flinched like she'd been hit, but she didn't look away. Ryan opened the door wider. Come in. We'll handle this the right way. Lawyer. School. Documentation. No drama. Madison stepped inside. Noah looked up from the table, cereal bowl in front of him. Are you mad at her? He asked bluntly. Ryan blinked, caught off guard. Madison crouched down. It's okay if you are, she said softly. I messed up. Noah studied her like a tiny judge. Then he asked, do you still hate soccer? Madison let out a surprised laugh through wet eyes. Yes. Noah nodded seriously. That's fine. Dad says you can be less bad. Ryan's face softened despite himself. Madison looked up at Ryan, heart pounding. And for the first time, she didn't ask to be first. She asked to be present. Ryan reached for her hand, slow, deliberate, like a promise. Love isn't a competition, he said quietly. But it does require courage. Madison squeezed his hand back. Then I'm staying. Outside, the winter sun shone bright on the snow, clean, honest light. And inside, 3 people stood together in a small apartment, choosing the hard thing. Truth, kindness, and the kind of love that shows up, even when it's inconvenient. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more stories that stay with you.